We are the best kept secret in the universe. Our specialty is locating and find extraterrestrials who are dare trying to make threat to our planet. We are the best, last line of defense. I keep it a secret, and I exist in the shadow, and I always dress in black. Here comes the Men in Black, Men in Black, Galaxy Defenders. Nah, the good guys dressed in black. Remember that, in case they have a face-to-face and make contact. Try help by me, MIB. What you think you saw, you did not see. You don't think it's what was dead, now gone. Black suit with the cry bands on. Walk the shadow, ooze a siren, scar to get sex and directional violence. The joker ain't on no government list. We strict, no with kiss, no names, and no fingerprints. Something strange here, watch your back. Could you right know what the MIBs is at? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You might know me as a multi-voice reviewer, but now I am Agent M, member of the MIB. And I know this is supposed to be top secret, but what the heck, I decided to review it. So, let's get to it, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Let's review the Men in Black. And no, this is not Blues Brothers. I'm not wearing a freaking hat. Or playing music and dancing. Well, you see me singing, but I'm singing Men in Black. Not Blues Brothers. If you see me wear... If you ever notice me reviewing Blues Brothers, you should see me wear a fedora. But right now, let's talk about the franchise I want to review, which is one of my favorite sci-fi franchise. Besides my love of Star Trek and Doctor Who, I also love the Men in Black. But first, before we get into these top secret agents who specialize in extraterrestrial sightings and such, first, a little history. You see, not many people know that the Men in Black was actually based from the comics. They were actually based from the comic book. And they were from Air Cell Comics. And that's the Men in Black for you. And those were the look of the original issues. And if you want to know the difference between the comic books and the movie, well, the Men in Black didn't deal with extraterrestrials, or aliens, for that matter. The big difference between the comic books and the movies, the comic book was a lot darker and was more serious. Kind of like The Mask in Blade. Well, not Blade, but kind of like The Mask. That was really dark and very gory and very violent. And of course, Ninja Turtles, when they first came out as a comic book, it was really violent and bloody. But the Men in Black here, they were a lot darker. No humor. And of course, they didn't deal with aliens. They dealt with other supernatural things. You see, the Men in Black not only dealt with extraterrestrials, they also dealt with other supernatural things. Like vampires, werewolves, ghosts, monsters, or even zombies. Sounds like the Men in Black was more like the X-Files. They're my grandmas. Okay, let me get one thing straight to you folks. One thing perfectly straight. My grandma likes the X-Files, and so did my mom. But me, I didn't care much about the X-Files. I hate TV shows where there's a conspiracy about cover-ups. That's why I'm not that hooked to the X-Files. But I'm more hooked to the Men in Black than I am with the X-Files. Anyway, back to the comic, shall we? And of course, the biggest change of all, Jay wasn't black in the comic. In the comic book, he was a white, blonde-haired guy. But they changed his character by letting him play by Will Smith. But one time they did do, around the 90s, another comic book company wanted to declare ownership to the Men in Black. So therefore, Marvel here got involved. That's right. Marvel Comics owned the rights to the Men in Black. But of course, don't be hoping for a crossover between the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Men in Black. Last thing I need is to see the Men in Black neuralizing the Avengers. And then they finally made the movie. And it was a movie where it got me started. Starring the legendary Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. Now, Will Smith started his career as a rapper and singer until he started acting in The French Prince of Bel-Air. And now he started to appear in movies and such. And this is where he started. And of course, he also did the song of the Men in Black that you saw me sing. This here was a good premise here. Jay was a member of the NYPD. And of course, Tommy Lee Jones, he plays Agent K. He was working with the Men in Black as long as he can imagine. And since his old partner was getting too old for all this, Tommy Lee Jones had to neuralize his partner. And if you want to know what a neuralizer is, this here is called the neuralizer. A gift from some friends I'm out of town. This red eye here can go to impulses into your brain and wipe out the memories that you just saw. Standard issue neuralizer. Don't worry, I'm not going to neuralize you. Yet. Anyway, back to the show. So, Will Smith's character, who now is going to be Jay, he's an NYPD and he was tracking against this one bad guy until it turns out he was an alien. And of course his convict was going like, he's coming because I fail and he will kill me too. And then he was like, yeah, you're peeing everybody off the day, huh? You don't understand. Your world's gonna end. His eyelids blinked. Anyway, Tommy Lee Jones decided to meet him and tell him to describe the weapon evaporated. And then after all that, he starts showing Jay here that the aliens do exist. So pretty much the truth is out there, and he's giving him a sunrise to think about it. To me, it took me just one day for me to think about it before I joined. And therefore, Jay met their boss, who goes by the name of Zed, played by Rip Torn. And you gotta like Rip Torn. He's a really good actor. And he was good enough to play the chief. Anyway, the first job that Jay ever been into, and of course it was the first time he wore the last suit he ever wears. I wonder if this is my last suit I ever wear. Anyway, turns out that the kind of alien that they decided to be dealing with, they're cockroaches. Imagine a giant cockroach with unlimited strength and a massive inferiority complex and a real short temper, terrorizing Manhattan with a brand new Edgar suit. That sound like fun? But as it turns out, he was going after this guy who goes by the name of Rosenberg, and he himself is an alien. And what he's looking for the giant cockroach, what he was looking for, he was looking for the galaxy. That's why Rosenberg's last words was, to prevent war, the galaxy is on Orion's belt. It turns out that the galaxy was a little marble shape, just a little marble, but inside is a whole galaxy inside. And of course, his cat was named Orion. So when he was trying to say Orion's belt, he meant Orion's collar, his cat. So now the agency decided to find the giant cockroach in the Edgar suit and try to stop him before he takes the galaxy. And the group of alien species called the Arcalians decided to vaporize our planet. And even they send us a message, deliver the galaxy. So we talked to Frank the Pug. He's an alien who looks like a pug, a dog, and he talks like this. You don't like it? You can kiss my furry little butt. And of course, you gotta like those worm aliens. The one who always pour the coffee. Not decaf, isn't it? Bean A7. Oh, don't tell me you got that powder stuff cream again. I hate that stuff. No, sabica sa tuaca. Oh, that's good. That's good. Sure you don't want any coffee? Anyway, throughout the whole mission, there was a woman who works in the morgue. I don't even know what her name was. But anyway, throughout the entire movie, and after dealing with that giant bug, that giant cockroach, that's when Kay, Tommy Lee Jones, decided to quit. So he was given Jay the neuralizer and neuralized him. And of course, they let the morgue woman, they decided to let her be the member of the MIB who goes by the name of Agent L. And that was the end of the Men in Black. And I was so hooked that they decided to make a sequel, and I was pretty stoked about it that I was looking forward to see it. And here we are, Men in Black 2. And there's Frank the Pug and the Worms. Tatuata! So you say you get along, and so you're back from outer space. I just walked in, find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should change that stupid lock. I shouldn't make you leave the key. But I know you were gone in 1 second. You'll be back about a me. Go on now, go. Walk out the door, Frank! I like those characters. Anyway, as it turns out, Jay has a new partner, and he's kind of stupid. So sadly, he neuralized him. And of course, Zed told him that he needs to stop neuralizing his partners. And he also did explain what happened to L. All my calls. Anyway, turns out that Jay decided to neuralize L because she feels kind of homesick being in the morgue. Didn't show it, Jay just explained it. And it turns out that there was an evil alien who goes by the name of Selena, played by a really hot girl over here. And it turns out she was looking for the light of Zartha. Turns out, in the story, there was a princess who goes by the name of Princess Alana, who refused giving Selena the light of Zartha. And the Men in Black tried their best to deal against Selena. So, Selena left. And now Selena is back because she discovered that the light of Zartha didn't left our planet. It was here all along. And she's trying to find it. along with this guy who has an IQ of a cannoli with an extra head popping out of his back. Played by Johnny Knoxville. And of course, Tommy Lee Jones, Agent K, turns out that that he knows something about the Light of Zartha. So now Jay's trying to get him to remember who he was. Best of luck on that, trying to deneuralize him. And of course, there was an old friend, Jeebs. The one that every time you blew his head off, it always grows back. Crabby, how much that stings. Until finally, Kay finally remembered who he was, and now he's helping out. And of course, there is this girl named Laura, that Jay decided to protect. But as it turns out, she's the Light. Spoiler alert, she's the Light. And they finally got rid of Selena. And after the end of this sequel, I thought, oh yeah, another thing I forgot. Men in Black got so popular that that Warner Brothers, who does these Warner Brother cartoons, decided to make a new cartoon series, and that is Men in Black, the animated series, where J and K and Z goes through their situation with the aliens. And the series got so popular that they decided that they made a video game of the Men in Black, the animated series, for PlayStation 1. Sadly, I never played it, that's why I showed you the picture. One of these days I should go to Game Insane and check it out. Anyway, after the cartoon series and the sequel, a couple of years later, the Men in Black were back. I got this one on Blu-ray, and it is Men in Black 3, starring Josh Brolin as the younger Tommy Lee Jones. Now, I gotta say one thing about Josh Brolin. He's a dang good actor, and he did a really good job playing Tommy Lee Jones. He got his accent, he got his voice, better than I ever could. And of course, how it turns out, there's an evil alien who goes by the name of Bruno, who used to be a prisoner on the planet Mars, and lost his arm because of Kay. He finally made his escape, and he was going after Kay for vengeance, but here's the thing. He wasn't going after him in the present. He was going after him in the past. So pretty much, Kay was killed in the past. So all the history about Kay was wiped out. And only Jay felt something odd lately and had craving for chocolate milk. And it turns out that he's the only person who remembers Kay. And of course, Zed passed away. I guess Rip Torn passed away somehow. And now they have a new agent, a new chief who is a woman. Let me see here. Oh yeah. So now the new chief is played by Emma Thompson, former Mrs. Brana. And she is a really good actress, and she's really funny. Anyway, she starts telling Jay that Kay was killed during his mission at the lunar landing, and now Bruno's alien species are invading Earth, destroying everything to existence. Because after Bruno killed Agent K, all that changed. It turns out when K battled against Bruno, he was the last of his kind. He was the last of his kind because all of his other alien species, they were wiped out from starvation. They were trying to invade our planet, but K stopped him. By having this device, it blocks our planet, so no invasion will never happen. And it's all because of this last of his kind, of this one alien, who can predict what's going on in certain time periods. So now, Jay went back into the past into the 50s, met young Agent K, and decided to go on their mission to battle against Bruno, but now there's 2 Brunos. And here's the thing. K was keeping a huge secret with Jay. He said there are things he shouldn't understand. But as it turns out, spoiler alert, after defeating Bruno, turns out that K met young Jay. And it turns out that the military guy who was helping them, he was Jay's father. Imagine that. And then after the 3rd Men in Black was over, the creators decided to do one more Men in Black thing to make. And they made this. Men in Black Alien Crisis. And this was a pretty cool Men in Black game they made for the PS3. You play this guy who is a thief and all of a sudden gets involved with the Men in Black. At first they think about neuralizing him, but now he decided to join the MIB and see if he's gonna get into the MIB or just go in his miserable life as a thief. And that's within this game. No J, no K in this. They just made up a new character and what aliens he dealt with. I guess Men in Black never ends. And that is my review of the Men in Black and the whole franchise. Now, for any of you who likes this review of the Men in Black, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe. And guess what my next review is going to be? It's going to be a theory. A crossover theory. Man, it's been so long since I've done that. But right now, this information about the Men in Black, sorry folks. Look right here.